Hey, it's Tim Frisch with A Frisch Perspective, and today I wanted to continue to talk more about the Legacy Standard Bible, the update of the New American Standard Bible. I talked recently about a conversation between Dr. John MacArthur and Dr. Abner Chou, and they had a lot of information and perspective that they gave on the Legacy Standard Bible, which is going to be produced by scholars from the Master's Seminary and University. So I might continue to talk about that conversation. I think there's a lot of interesting things in that, so I might continue to talk about that more. But I really wanted to answer one particular issue today, or give my thoughts on this issue. And it's kind of a complaint that I've heard, or a potential complaint that people have about the Legacy Standard Bible. And I did say initially when I started talking about this translation that, you could call it the MacArthur American Standard Bible or the Master's American Standard Bible, the MASB, because it's the New American Standard Bible, but with the Master's Seminary kind of bent to it, or MacArthur influence on it. So I do think some people are going to kind of perceive it that way. And I just want to talk about that a little bit today, because on one hand, that is true. It is going to have influence from John MacArthur and Master's Seminary. But when you think about what the Legacy Standard Bible is, even though you might think, okay, this is a translation being produced out of Master's Seminary in that group, and some people really are having a hard time with that because they say, well, it doesn't have scholars from other groups translating, so it's just going to be this one group. And there's a part of that is true, and I understand that argument or that viewpoint. But another thing to consider here is it's not a translation from scratch. The Legacy Standard Bible translators, or the committee that's working on this, are not starting just with the Greek and Hebrew and then translating and making their own translation. It is actually an update of the New American Standard Bible. So if you look at the Lockman Foundation website, you'll see here that this gives information on the NASB. And when you go to the bottom of the web page here, it talks about the translators of the NASB. And what you notice here is there are many translators that worked on this, the original NASB and then the 95 update. And there's a lot of names listed here. So I wanted to show you that to say and kind of make this point that the Legacy Standard Bible, while it is going to be produced by Master's Seminary and University, it's based on a translation, the New American Standard Bible, which was translated by many different scholars from different backgrounds. And again, looking at the Lockman Foundation website, it says the translators come from Presbyterian, Methodist, American Baptist, Disciples, Southern Baptist, Nazarene, General Association of Regular Baptists, Congregational, Independent Baptists, Free Methodists, and still other denominations. So you see that the New American Standard Bible was produced by people from various different backgrounds and denominations. So the Legacy Standard Bible, even though it is being directly produced by people from Master's Seminary and University, because it's based on the New American Standard Bible, that's really going to be the majority of what you're reading is the New American Standard Bible. Now, is it going to have more of a flavor, more of a bent based on MacArthur and Master's Seminary viewpoint? Yeah, it is. And I do predict that people who really like John MacArthur's ministry and have a lot of respect for Master's Seminary and University, they're certainly going to be the people who really are going to like this translation and are going to be probably the biggest proponents of it. But that being said, I just wanted to balance out this conversation a little bit, because I do feel like people can think that it's a translation that is only being produced by Master's Seminary and University personnel or scholars. But in reality, it's based on the New American Standard Bible, which, as you can see, was put together by many different scholars from different backgrounds. So the Legacy Standard Bible is not just a Bible produced by one little group. It is actually, when you realize that it's based on the New American Standard Bible and will largely retain a lot of the New American Standard Bible translation, you could really argue that it's a lot more eclectic than meets the eye. But I do want to say, too, that I do think at the end of the day, because it is being produced by people at Master's Seminary, I do think it's going to have a niche aspect to it. And to add to that is the fact that it's going to translate in some unique ways. So having the name of God in the Old Testament translated consistently as Yahweh is going to definitely make it more of a unique, and kind of, as the Holman Christian Standard Bible was sometimes called, a quirky translation. So the more you get away from what's considered standard and traditional in translations, the more you can be labeled as quirky. And I think that this translation could have a little bit of a niche aspect to it, that it's going to be liked by people who, are open about translating the name of God in a way that isn't typical. Because typically we do render that as Lord in capital letters. And then also the fact that it is being produced directly by Master's Seminary personnel. That's going to make it more niche in some people's eyes. But I just wanted to say again that we can overstate that. We can make it sound like it's really MacArthur's Bible. And yes, it is going to have a bent to it. I will acknowledge that, and I said that right off the bat. That's why I kind of jokingly call it the MASB. But just to be clear and to be fair, it is based on the NASB, which was produced by a lot of different scholars from different backgrounds. So those are my thoughts on this, and I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. And as always, thank you for listening to what I have to say from a first perspective.